Hello, booktube. This is Moonlight Library. I'm here for a summer TBR and goals. I think I want to add some goals. Have I thought about these goals? Mildly. Have I spent much time thinking about these goals? No, of course not. So, let's talk about my goals real quick. My goals for my summer TBR are, firstly, I think I need to read not more classics, but I have a thing where I'm like at least 1 to 2 classics a year that I want to read, not because I feel like I have to or anything like that. Secondly, I want to read bigger books. I have not read a book over 500 pages, so I think that I need to have books that I spend a little more time with. So I picked out a couple big books. And then thirdly, I want to finish some of the books that I read or started during my extended reading slump. And it's not that I didn't like them, it's just I was not reading. And I was starting them and unable to finish anything, basically. So I want to go back to those. And maybe I'll make a vlog where I just, read all my unfinished books. So we're gonna go through those because it's not like I've spoken about them much here because I wasn't here. Let's get into my summer TBR. So right now it is June, so obviously it is Pride Month. Happy Pride. And so I was like, let's pick out a couple LGBTQ plus books for my TBR. Books that have been my goal. Oh, fourth goal. Here's a fourth goal. Is read books on my shelf. So all these books I owned and have just been sitting here. There are tons of books here that I've been wanting to read. And I want to actually read them. So here's one. It's going to be Magic for Liars by Sarah Gailey. I've read one other Sarah Gailey book, Upright Women Wanted. I think that was hers. This is a magic cop sapphic fantasy detective story, I think. Sounds pretty fun. I was not the biggest fan of Upright Women Wanted, but I've been wanting to read this book for years, so... And it's like, I've been wanting to read it, and I finally bought it, too. So it's like a magical world, and we're following someone who's born without magic, and never wanted it. She's a private investigator, and she has a twin that she does not want to be like, who is magical. So, excited for this one. Okay, so this fits my wanting to read books for Pride, but secondly, my wanting to read really big books. I don't know, this might take a long time, but I hear it's amazing and people are obsessed with it, and I've only heard beautiful things. I just saw someone on TikTok a couple days ago talking about this book, and they were like, immediately this was one of their, like, a 5-star read within 80 pages. And trust me, that is barely breaching the surface of the Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. Look at that book. Massive. Should I tell you the page count? Oh, wait a second. It's not too crazy. It's like 800 pages. It just looks a lot bigger. I just feel like I need to read this to you because I don't know. So, the House of Baratnet has ruled Innis for 1,000 years. Still unwed, Queen Sabrin the Ninth must conceive a daughter to protect her realm from destruction, but assassins are getting closer to the door. I hear this is like kind of like government or like politics and stuff with fantasy. Iad Duryan is an outsider at court. Though she has risen to the position of lady-in-waiting, she is loyal to a hidden society of mages. Iad keeps a watchful eye on Sabrin, secretly protecting her with forbidden magic. Yeah, they're gonna fall in love. You can just feel it right off that. You can just feel it. I'm excited. Lastly, for this little stack, The Deep by River Solomon. I've never read River Solomon's books, but I hear about them a lot. This one is Yitu Holds the Memories for Her People. I think this is like the pregnant slave women throwing themselves off boats as they're being like in the transatlantic slave trade. And then they become mermaids, I think. Sounds really interesting, and I am ready to read it. Also, look at this cover. It's friggin' beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. Next, outstandingly large novel. This is a book I've been meaning to read for a while, and I feel like summer is the time for it because it's boats, it's the sea. 13 and a Half Lives of Captain Bluebear. So this is by Walter Moers. He is a German author. It is like a fairy tale fantasy for adults. I hear it's like adults that haven't lost their wonder and whimsy is something I have read online through reviews and such. We're following Captain Bluebear on his adventures, and this is in an entire series. It is quite long, and it has little illustrations throughout the book. Let me find you one. I will be reading this, and I am very excited for magic and whimsy and beautiful and wonderful text. Thank you. I have read one Walter Moers. It was A Wild Ride Through the Night. That is a very short one, and it is it's like illustrations and text as well. Pretty thin though. Very good book. I do want to go back and revisit that. Okay, so next one is for my book club that I am in. And this is our our June selection. This is All the Lovers in the Night by Mieko Kawakami. I have never read a book by Mieko Kawakami, and I have been meaning to for a while, such as Breast and Eggs. I keep hearing such good things about In Heaven, I think, too. Everyone loves that one. I don't really know what it's about, so I'm going to go ahead and redo a little bit. Friendship does not come easily to Fuyuko Irie. Sorry. In her 30s, she works as a freelance copy editor and lives alone. Her most frequent interactions are with her manager, Haiji Irie, a woman with a very different disposition whose motives are often unclear. One day, Fuyuko stops in the middle of a Tokyo street, transfixed by her reflection in a storefront window. The woman she sees looks back at her is drab, spiritless, inert. So she's going to transform her life and become a cool girl, I guess. Okay, so that is my book club selection. Very tiny. So I don't know what my July or August ones will be because we switch off every month who chooses, and we choose in the month. Next up. Okay, this looks like it's a big book, but really it's like 13 books inside of this, so I'm going to read book 2 in the, I think it's the Amber Chronicles. Okay, it's 10 books in here. I'm going to read book 2, because I want to pick up this series again. I really enjoyed it. Maybe I should reread the first one. Nah, I think I remember what happens. It's about this guy who was a prince, but he gets like drugged and it's like a fantasy meets real world because he gets put in the real world even though he's a fantasy prince, and he is drugged to forget the fact that he's a prince, and they're like multiple princesses and princes, like his siblings, and I think it's one of them that ends up doing this to him, and he is, in the first book, he goes back to Amber, which is the name of the fantastical place that he's a prince in, and it is crazy him trying to get there. It's like there's this like drug tripping crazy wild ride scene in a car that's I can't even. It is unforgettable, that scene. So anyways, the second book is him just getting back to Amber and I think trying to retake his throne. I'm not really sure, but we shall see. So what is I think it's called Guns of Amber. Wow, you're not gonna give me a list of what the book names are. That is, oh, it's on the back. So the first one is 9 Princes of Amber. The second one is Guns of Avalon. Okay, so I'm gonna read Guns of Avalon. Maybe I'll also read Sign of the Unicorn. Roger Zelazny? Yeah. Now, here are some books that I have not finished that I would like to finish as a goal. Yes. I haven't spoken about this book at all on this channel, which is kind of crazy because I'm a little obsessed with it. I have not finished it, but I was just like in a very bad reading slump and I stopped reading it for a little bit, but I have picked it up again. It is The 3 Body Problem. I'm about halfway through. There. I put a tab in it. That doesn't happen for me. Something happened in this book. I was like, whoa. This is by Cixin Liu. I'm not sure how to say that. I probably butchered it. So, 3 Body Problem is, how do I explain this since I've read over half of it, but I'm just coming back to it. So, 3 Body Problem follows our main character and also a side story. The side story is about this woman who was a physicist back like in maybe the 50s or something, and then it also follows this man who is our main character who's playing this video game. Like, he's also a physicist, and there's something weird going on in the world, and he starts playing this video game that's supposed to, like, help to... I'm just gonna redo the synopsis. It is a wild book. And if you like physics, and if you like space, if you like math, this would be the book for you, and science fiction. So, set against the backdrop of China's Cultural Revolution, a secret military project sends signals into space in an attempt to make contact with aliens, and they succeed. An alien civilization on the brink of destruction captures the signal and plans to invade Earth. I don't even think that describes it. That's not really it. It's like a detective story too. And it also kind of reminds me at a point of Ring, like the movie / the book, the Japanese novel, like watching the VHS and stuff. Would suggest. I think yeah. Okay. Next up is Universal Harvester. Look at that. By John Darnielle. This one is, ooh, whoopsies. This one's a VHS store in, I think, like the 80s or 90s. I got about that way through. It's pretty short, but I was just reading some. So in the 80s or 90s, and there are little portions of VHS tapes that are returned that for some reason have been copied over with like this weird like torture-esque like snuff video things, but like little clips, and it's like what's going on. It's kind of horror, kind of creepy. And then the next one is Stories of Your Life by Ted Chiang. I got a pretty good amount through this book. It's a short story collection, sci-fi. It has the Story of Your Life story in it, and other stories, sorry. So it has Story of Your Life in it, which is the book that Arrival, the movie with Amy Adams, is based off of. I've read that short story before. It is so good. If you haven't read it, then you are doing yourself a disservice, because just read that short story. It is so freaking good. You just cry and cry and cry. It's beautiful. He plays with time. He plays with physics. He plays with like dimensions and aliens, and it's some good stuff in here. I would definitely recommend. Hands down. Okay, second to last, Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. I started this book. I don't even know where I left off in this book. I just feel like I need to finish it. This is Fairy? I don't know. Has undergone more trials than one human woman can carry in her heart. So she has left. I'm just gonna read this. Though she's now been granted the powers and lifespan of the High Fae, she is haunted by her time under the mountain and the terrible deeds she performed to save the lives of Tamlin and his people. So I will say, I fucking hate Tamlin. He's annoying. He's the worst. We're all about Reese in this household, meaning me. I am all about Reese. Hate Tamlin. That's a no for me. It's a no for me. Fairy's now a fairy, I guess, and then her family is still stuck like in human world or something. I don't know. That's probably the worst I could ever describe this book. So you're welcome. I'm glad you enjoyed that really bad description. Okay, and then my one classic novel. Not even that old, but Kurt Vonnegut's Cat's Cradle. I've been meaning to read this for a long time. It's very short. I really feel like I can accomplish this, so that's what's gonna happen. I really enjoyed Slaughterhouse 5, and this followed Slaughterhouse 5, 9, 11, Slaughterhouse 18. The slaughteriest house. The House of Slaughters. Slaughterhouse 5. That was correct. So this is it's a satire commentary on modern man and his madness. The apocalyptic tale of this planet's ultimate fate, and features, I'm just not even gonna read that. Wow. Nope. That's all you're gonna get. This already seems like it's gonna be problematic, but I'm gonna read it. I didn't read the synopsis before I started. Go read it on your own. Okay, bye. Well, that's it. So those are the books I'm gonna read for my summer TBR. And those were my goals. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you get a lot out of this. Okay? I hope I do too. Bye.